and this is another exciting episode on Talk with Mo. And as you know, this season is all about trailblazers. And with me in the studio today is another lady who's blazing the trail. You want to know how she's blazing the trail, so keep watching and join me as I welcome the delectable Professor, Doctor, you got that right, Dr. Nnenna Uboma.
Thank you.
It's so lovely to have you here. Yeah. I'm sure as I'm introducing, people are thinking, she's going to be old, professor, doctor. Yeah, but look at you, you look radiant. It's good to have you in our studios.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a long while coming, and I've met you many times, and I'm like, I need to be there. In fact, Canada Vendors was the first person that said, Maria, Nnenna, you need to be in that
on that show.
On that show. I'm like, okay, the time will come.
The time will come, and now is the time. How wonderful. Well, thank you for coming. And I met you, and you're such a relatable person, but there's so much more to this beautiful person you see out here. And you recently got your doctoral degree, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So tell us, before we get into the journey of your doctorate and all of it, why don't you tell us about who Nnenna is?
Okay, so my name is Nnenna Uboma, and I am married. In fact, my husband is a priest, a reverend.
Right, yes,
in the Anglican church, so he just got ordained, and that's also an exciting part for us. So we are looking at it to see how God's grace and mercy will abound. But then, I'm also a mother of 3 children. My first daughter is Jasmine, the popular Beyond Man.
Popular Beyond Man.
So I also have a son, Jamie, and I also have a daughter, Jera. That is Triple J.
Triple J. So the Triple J consulting that you have is actually the names of your children, is what you're saying. Interesting. So what does Triple J do?
As a young girl, I've always wanted the name Triple J. So it was very intentional for me to give my children the J's, because I was always hoping that someday I'll have a company called Triple J.
Why? What's interesting about the letter J for you?
So I felt like J is not very common, and J is something that looks unique. Because I see many people say triple K, triple this, triple that. And then when I was picking the names that had to start with J, Jamike was a name I've never really seen anybody answer.
Jamike.
Jera was another name that I think maybe she's the only one that bears that name. And then Jasmine, I just like the aroma, the beautiful scent that comes out of Jasmine. So that's Triple J.
And that's where. So what does Triple J Consulting do? What do you consult in?
So I formed Triple J to be more of a holding name.
Okay.
So for me, I started initially with training school. So doing a lot of data analytics, which is the profession that I have.
Data analytics.
So when I came into Canada, I took a career in data analytics. So it's been a very promising career, because when I came in, it looked like there was a gap. There were so many people in technology, and there were so many people in business, but there was nobody in between that knew the 2 words. So I normally call myself that I have the best of 2 words, and it really skyrocketed my career. So Triple J now went into training. So I think my pastor called me one day and said, now you're kind of one lone woman in the room. Why don't you start spreading this gospel? So I was like, I don't want to do it. He actually arranged my first class. He got me the students, and from there he got me to all the redeemed churches. So I went to Pastor Timothy's church. He actually arranged most of them. And that's why for me, when God sends a man to you, in form of a spiritual head, he cares for you, and he really, really wanted me to succeed. So even when I said I didn't want to, he saw the potential, and he kind of pushed me out there. And one thing, once you're pushed out, you keep running, you don't ever take a break. Immediately you understand that you really have feathers. Yeah. And then you can really fly. So I've been flying. So, the Triple J school has been ongoing for a while. So now for me, I think I want to go into greater heights. So I kind of want to put Triple J into an online school where I don't have to be teaching again. But now I want to go into the part of AI, the part of
artificial intelligence,
opening app. So that's my new Triple J. Like we're going to be launching
We're going to be talking
things.
about that soon. But you just talked about data analytics skyrocketing your career in Canada. When did you arrive in Canada, and what did you begin in? What career did you start in Canada?
Okay, so I came in 2010, and one thing that I always tell people is about looking at the opportunity that exists at your time.
At the time you come.
Yes. So
not behind, not in the past, not in the future, but
at that time, then you make yourself to be a pioneer, and that's what I call a trailblazer. Like, you don't wait when everybody has gone in. When you're going at that time, you're not going to make much. Now, data analytics is everywhere. So even if you want to use it, it's no longer as before. When I came in and I was looking for a career, I went to Indeed. I pulled out a lot of job. I did a lot of analysis there, and I noticed some few skills, SAS as at then, and I noticed I started applying for jobs that had that SAS. I didn't have it. I didn't even know it. In 2 weeks, I got 21 interviews. I went to learn it.
You went to learn SAS. What is SAS?
It's called SAS. It's like a programming language. Like SQL. So I went to learn it. And even an interview I went for in RBC, they gave me coding to do. I still did not even get the coding right. They still offered me the job because why? It's demand and supply.
There are not a lot of people
demand and supply. So that was why, as of 2013, I was an analyst. I applied for a director job and I got it. Because why?
Hold on.
Demand and supply.
You applied for a director job. Where?
It was in a consulting firm. It was Fairmont in Toronto. So they are consulting arm.
Yes.
I have never managed before. I was just an analyst with a company, and I just said, you know what? I saw that job, and I'm like,
why not?
Why not? It was a director of predictive analytics, and I applied for it.
So it was specific. They were looking for a director that had an analytical skill.
Yes. So even though many people would have been managers and co, but they needed data. So me, I had data, I didn't have the managerial skill. So it was okay, they brought me on board, and then I learned how to manage. Right? because they needed somebody that knew how to code. So it was just, I believe that it's just about, taking the cream of the time. So my advice is, don't just go to something because everybody's there. Many people told me to do BA, many people told me to do project management. If I did that in 2010, I'll just be like every other person.
Looking for the same pool of job.
Yeah.
But you distinguished yourself.
Completely.
So the message is look for where you can distinguish yourself, pretty much.
Correct.
And stand out. So now you talk about a director role with Fairmont. And I know that you did get to an executive director role with Scotia Bank. Is that correct?
So after I worked with Fairmont, so after 1 year, I left there. Then I now went into banking. So I went into banking, CIBC, first of all, as a senior manager. Then I worked in TD. And then I got to Scotia Bank as a director of data governance.
As a director?
Yes.
Now, let's not downplay the importance or the significance of what you've just said, because you just said it as a director of, as if it came easy. And we know that it didn't come easy. Maybe it came easy for you, but how many Nigerians do you know who have risen to that role?
At the time I got into the director level, there's something they call, that's why, like, when I see myself, I tell myself, actually, Nnenna, you're a trailblazer, because you open the path. People will see that it's possible, and everybody starts to run into it. And me, when everybody starts to run into it, it's time for me to get out. Because I have to keep the pace of the trailblazing, because that's the one icon I have given myself. That's my badge.
Trailblazer. Yeah. Yeah, a trailblazer.
So let me give you, an instance. So when I was in Scotia Bank and they were doing a Black History Month, February is Black History Month, so everybody has to talk. And they were looking for 2 black executives that have to come and, give, it was more like a bank-wide town hall.
Yes.
They saw one male black as a VP, and the other person was me. They had to pick as a female director in the risk management group, because there was no other to come on board. That will show you how, the vacuum and how much it is to get that role. Like it's not something that you just pick. But now, you know, with the whole Black History Month, all the awareness, everything that's coming on board, more and more, you know, Black directors and Black professionals are coming in. But at the time when I got it, I could barely count who else
was there. So how long were you in that role for?
4 years.
Why did you leave?
Because this year, so I basically left at the end of last year anyway. So this year I want to do something different. I want to run companies. I always see myself as intelligent. Like I always say that, you know, God gave people different gifts. But I think He gave me brain. So I asked myself, so would you continue to work for people? It's not time that you do something. I remember my first director job. I got a note at 7 a.m. in the morning from my executive director. He said, all my life, I have been looking to find someone like you. But I am happy, eventually, I met one as intelligent as you are.
Interesting.
Right. In fact, they gave me, if you read one of the reference letters they gave me, they said there's nothing Nnenna cannot answer. So, and that was when one day approached me once and said, you know, you're very intelligent, why don't you try something of your own? But you know, there's always that fear. What if nobody will buy? What if this? What if that? What if that? But you know, at the time, I don't have much to fear again. My children are kind of all entering university. I mean, even if I don't work, they're going to get to serve. Like, there are certain times you see that all those little fears are leaving because you also have gotten yourself some assets and some investments. So for me, it's time to really, you know, venture it. And I'm happy that I'm carrying my children along because another thing that I have in my head, just the same way I had Triple J, is what I call the Trio CEO. That's my next launch.
The Trio CEO.
Trio CEO, yes. So when it will be mother, daughter, and son, that's going to be the next hype from Triple J to that. So I've been building it. It's closing and it's getting closer, and we are going to launch soon.
That is amazing. We can't wait to celebrate you. But people watching will be wondering, I mean, a bird at hand, they say, is worth one or two or more in the bush, right? Why did you leave your executive directorial role at Scotia Bank when you really do not have another huge role that you're going to be that will be supporting or funding you while you're looking for the next thing to do?
What I need right now is not another big executive role, because another big executive role is limiting. Because how can I be marketing a company when you're on an executive role on another? It is conflict of interest. But what I have is funding. Then I have other ways of getting funding, even in the bank too, even working still in the bank, but no longer on that executive role. So you get the funds to fund your desire, and then if after 1 year it doesn't work, I mean, skills and experiences are never gone. So you can still take it, which is one of the reasons why I took up my professor job as professor of statistics. So that still keeps me in my core domain. Nobody will say, oh, she doesn't know what she's doing anymore, because whenever I want to launch back, she's still the professor of statistics. That is still data. You are now
a professor. That's a new one. So you're now a professor of statistics.
Another trailblazing. Tell me who has gone. Who has gone? Who can teach statistics?
Statistics.
I mean, everybody runs.
Interesting. That is interesting. Even at high school level, I did not like statistics more than the mean median mode. Once it's over that, we're done. Wow, that's a lot. Congratulations on another feather to your hat. But that's not all, is there? I know that there's more coming, and I know that you have brought some books. So tell us about these books that are here.
Oh yeah, so I wrote this book, Lessons to My Younger Self. So
lessons, they're called Lessons to Your Younger Self.
Yes, Lessons to My Younger Self. So before COVID and during COVID, I used to run a virtual connect for young adults, so like teenagers.
Right.
So everyone is there. For 1 hour, I teach them something, like sometimes I teach them creativity, but in a way they would understand. I remember one of the times I was talking about creativity, and I said, do you know that when somebody asks you, are you creative? That question is simply, can you try?
Can you try?
Yes, because How can you know if you're creative?
Unless you try.
Unless you try. So based on some of those teachings, and then the kids really liked it. In fact, in 2020, I had a conference that started by 12 and ended by 7, and had over 100 teenagers, and they stayed there for that 5 hours.
Interesting.
No food, nothing. They were just online. So I kind of felt, I can't keep running this every Wednesday because I was just everywhere. And I said to myself, maybe I should write it down. And that was why I wrote it in nuggets, because it's actually meant for them, and they don't read a lot.
They don't, yeah. So they're just, as you can see, they're just little,
Yes.
little card-like.
Yes.
They're like in a little card. Everyone was born with a gift. Start your pursuit with identifying your talents. Don't worry, no matter how senseless your task is, to discover the usefulness of your gift and make it your route to success. Interesting. That I just opened to that page, and that has spoken to me. So I don't think this is only for teenagers or for children. I think this would apply to people in every stage of life. So please go and get yours, Lessons to My Younger Self by Nnenna Uboma. And where can we find this? This will be on
Amazon.
On Amazon?
Yes.
So, and how much does it cost?
$15.
So hey, that's coffee. 2 coffees. I'm sure 2-3 coffees you can afford to get this book, everyone. So thank you for bringing the books to showcase to us today. But apart from being an author, so you've been an executive director with a big bank in Canada, one of the big 5 banks in Canada. You have been, now you're a professor and you're an author. But I know that when we talked earlier, there's something else, your latest fancy. So I'm not going to say anything, you take us on that journey. Why don't you tell us about this new toy that you have?
So one of the things that, based on me being a director, having been able to be running Triple J, where I have a lot of students, I have a lot of mentees. So I've really had a lot of mentees, and there's always one thing that I kept hearing, and that thing was a stage where they can actually connect unbiased. And I went out looking for a connection app. So I come from Africa. One of the things that we really want is that we want to get married. And when I ask people about Tinder, so there's this notion that anybody that is there is on display. Because we, basically Africans, we don't like women being on display. So when you're like on display, it looks like, okay, I'm ready for sale, right? You're like,
I see.
You're like a cloth that is on a store. Everybody comes to look at them. 1, 2, 3, oh, I like this. Or they kind of prize you. So talking to a lot of mentees, especially the women, they feel that way. One of them told me that I've deleted Tinder and all these apps
now,
from
Tinder
my
is
phone.
A dating app.
Yes.
Many of us are aware of Tinder because of the movie. But yeah.
I've deleted it because when I go to Toronto, it looks like all the men in Toronto already knows me, and I don't even know them because they've seen your picture.
I see.
They know you're on Tinder. They're like, oh, this one, I know her now. She's that stuff. They're like that, and that's a lot of labeling. And whether we like it or not, humans are biased. We can never say that humans are not biased.
Absolutely.
So what am I doing? I am building a platform to remove that biasness, which is basically what you see physically. I'm saying connect with the heart. Get to know the person based on values. Talk with this person for a while. And if there is connection, then review yourselves.
So you've taken the problem of, people are going to recognize me. And how have you done that?
So I am launching an app called Metal.
Metal.
And people ask me...
How do you spell metal?
Metal. And people ask me, why metal? Why metal? Because in the love story, or in the world of true love, I feel that metals are one of the elements that have actually established true love. Why? Is because when I get 2 metals and I liquidify them and they start to pour, they pour in a liquid form. When they actually solidify, they become a completely different metal. A composite with its unique name, its unique characteristics, and its unique features. And they are meant, strung together, and meant to last forever. Even when you want to break it, it is difficult to break a metal. You have to melt it back. And when you melt it back, the liquid becomes the liquid of that new metal. For me, that is what God intended
For
when He
marriage
said
and
that
relationship.
love should last forever.
Wow, simply wow, I have no words. I'm just in awe of that. How did you think? Could you? I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's why you're a professor. But how did you think about metal in physics?
I mean, I just told you I'm all about science. I read engineering first degree. So
Okay, all right.
Physics
So
was my best subject.
We'll pack it right there.
SS1, best physics. Second, SS2, best physics. SS3, best physics. So I loved physics so much that I was surprised when my son came back and said, "Physics is so easy and so redundant." I'm like, I think it's very genetic.
Oh wow! So it runs in the family.
I tell you,
Physics is easy.
That's what that guy told me.
Okay, all right. I think I rest my case here. So metal, is it out yet, or are you about to launch?
So I'm about to launch, but I've already started building the Instagram, and I want everyone to join us on Instagram. It's called the Metal app. And in the month of February, we are going to do a lot of giveaways because we want to, celebrate that true love based on our identity, metal, right? So we want to celebrate that whole experience. So the app will be coming out sometime in March for the testing. So the beta launch will be sometime in March. And the good thing is that metal is not only dating app; it's a connection app. I was speaking to a lady too who is in her 50s. So think about it, empty nesters, all their kids are gone. And sometimes your husbands are very busy. And sometimes you have friends. And sometimes we have friends and these friends are so fake. We don't even know that our friends are fake. So you can't tell your friend, my son is having this problem because you don't want her to judge you, because the next thing she will be like, oh, but my own son just graduated with first class. You're telling somebody that you're having a problem with your own son.
And she's
just rubbing it. And so all of us decide not to speak out, or just, we don't want to be judged. But on metal, you have companion, you have listening ears, you have mentors. So you can actually connect blindly.
So it's a faceless app.
It's a faceless app. So you connect blindly and you can talk. And then you can choose to always be a metal. That means the person will never know you, but the person is just a comfort zone where you talk.
You can go there and rant if you want to rant.
Yes.
You can go there and share good news. Hey, I just got promotion. There's no one else to share it with.
And nobody will judge you.
I am telling you.
And nobody will judge you, and the person will be like, congratulations. So you can have a place to, you know that somebody really cares even when you don't know the person, because the person is a woman. So the heart connects. You know that this person really cares for me. You don't need to know the person physically. So, and if you choose later, it's okay.
Get to know each other. How do you get connected? I mean, is there a registration? You download the app and you register to be, so the people are called metals?
So you choose your favorite metal. So like the lady that did
metals there.
So the lady that did the design said she's aluminium. I asked her why. She said because she's very rusty. She can't deal.
So what are you? If you were on metal, what metal would you choose?
So if I was in, I think I would take titanium.
Titanium.
Yeah.
Why titanium?
I think that for me, I am something that is a bit. I consider myself, strength. I think that God gave me strength. I can really carry on. And I can really carry on, well. So I consider myself strength. I mean, titanium. And I also believe that, my shine.
Titanium is very giving.
Yeah, I also believe that my shine doesn't just dim like that. Like I'm a metal that stands out. Both in strength, both in shine, and both in, that's Nnenna, right?
Interesting. I wonder what metal I should be thinking of right now. She's got me thinking. So as you're thinking about this, perhaps it's time to download this metal app and just maybe find out what kind of metal you are and which other metals you'll be connecting with. I think on that note, Nnenna, is there anything you want to leave our guests with before you go?
So I always say that, in life, don't ever give up, keep moving. Like, Mo just read one part of my book. No matter how senseless your idea is, sometimes people don't understand it, but really it is your own job to sell it. And as long as you have the conviction, people will end up, dancing to it, little by little. So join me and let's trailblaze.
And on that note, we're going to be watching Nnenna trailblaze, and she's just thrown the challenge to you, our viewers. Join her and be a trailblazer. Whatever you do, believe in yourself. Be a trailblazer. Do not clog the trail for others if you're not going to blaze the trail. But please, whatever you do, believe in yourself. There's only you, and there's no idea that is dumb, as long as you believe yourself and ask the right questions. So until next time, go check out the Metal app and join Nnenna, and every one of us will be metaling away. So take good care of yourself. Catch you later. God bless you.